All right, Joe Jorgensen out on the campaign trail, and you've got to look fairly hard and with a little bit of, perseverance in order to find stories about Joe Jorgensen. Fox 2 News in St. Louis recently decided to cover candidate and Dr. Joe Jorgensen as she makes her way around the country. Fundraising, I think, going pretty well for the Libertarian candidate for president. By the way, again, and I'll keep saying this, and I know, people just either don't agree with me or don't care or just kind of look the other way. My most popular videos on this channel continue to be videos about Tulsi Gabbard. And I like Tulsi Gabbard. But Tulsi Gabbard is not running for president, okay? She dropped out. And she had no path going forward. The person who best represents her values, that person is on the ballot, and her name is Dr. Joe Jorgensen. Now, I'm going to play a clip here of Joe Jorgensen speaking to a crowd in St. Louis. There are about 100 people who showed up, more than a Joe Biden rally. Look at it that way. And then I'll come back and I'll do some commentary.
We need to put the decision-making power back into your hands, because you can spend your money better than the politicians and special interests.
Well over 100 supporters showed up for Friday evening's rally. Attendees spanned from old, young, LGBT, and minority voters, all having one mission: to get Dr. Jorgensen to Washington.
I've never raised a tax, I've never fought in an unnecessary war, and I've never made decisions for other people. I do know how to balance a checkbook, and because I have lived under the system, I have a love for this country.
So she hit on a couple of things in this answer, or I don't know what the question was. I guess it was just talking about her belief system. She talked about essentially not making decisions for you, like you can make your own decisions. I want to make some comments about that. There are people who are walking around this country right now, everywhere, whether they have a mask on or not, who really need someone else to take them by the hand and lead them around. And there are young people, there are old people, there are scared people. There are people who right now are so afraid of our government. And by the way, they come at this in many different ways. I don't like the tyranny, like the health tyranny that's going on right now with the mask mandates and so forth. I've got other friends who are afraid that the military might roll into a city because of all of the violence and do some things that could result in more tragedy and more death. But then you've got people who are like, hey, please make it stop. So you've got, basically you're watching a large car wreck, and everybody is looking at the car wreck. And that's the campaign of Biden versus Trump. If you bring in someone else and say, hey, there's another way, people are, yeah, okay, that's fine. But I still want to keep looking at the car wreck. I complain a lot about how the horse race is more important to these commentators. The horse race. What did Biden say today? I love Tim Pool. I watch him all the time. He's a guy who just does the horse race. He's in a lane. He's really good at what he does. He does commentary in addition to telling you about the horse race. He talks about, current events. Now, I could do that every day, but I don't think I could do it better than Tim Pool. My observations might be different than his. And at the end of the day, we've got to find a way to get around that subject matter and get to some meat and potatoes here. And Joe Jorgensen is offering up solutions to problems. She's telling you to keep more of your own money. Now, a lot of people just think, I need stuff. Well, if you don't work, you're not going to have any stuff. And if you do work, the goal should be to keep more of your stuff. But that argument, that lower taxes, and you get into like, oh, what are you into, trickle-down economics and the corporations? Look, the corporations are in bed with the government. If you kick the corporations out of the bed, say, you know what, you and I, we've been together for a long time, and you need to hit the road and don't come back. Yes, you need legislation. You need libertarian-leaning laws that forbid that kind of real collusion. It's really not between other countries. It's collusion between large corporations and the federal government. And this has been going on for, I don't know, decades, many, many decades. So a libertarian says, look, I want to make it so you can live your life. I want to rule the world. Jo Jorgensen, she wants to rule the world in order to make you happy. In other words, if she wins, government will leave you alone. And I think there are people on the left and the right who could benefit from this. And there are people on the left that are still going to complain about the things that they don't have and so forth, and they want more, and it's not fair, and all these things are human rights. You know what's happened is we've just gone off everything is a human right cliff. We've gone over that cliff, and we're falling perilously to our death because the monetary system has broken down. And I'm also going to call out, the people who are in the military who have made a life and a living out of just fighting, doing endless war, doing nonstop endless war as far as the eye can see. And I don't know, maybe people just think that's the natural state of being now. Just like they think, hey, I can't pay for these things, so someone's going to have to come and bail me out. Now, yeah, you can make an argument about corporations getting the bailouts, but it's a false argument because nobody should be getting the bailouts. Nobody is too big to fail. All right? And if you level that playing field, you couldn't look at the corporations and go, oh, well, they're just big monster corporations. Corporations aren't people. No, but the individuals are. And the individuals should have the right to work where they want to work, and they should have the individual liberty that is afforded to them in the Constitution in order to just have a decent life and to pursue happiness. See, and I think this is what gets lost on so many Americans now, is that you have a right to pursue happiness. You don't have a right to happiness. Now, I understand that in a just society, in a fair society, there would be charity. There would be help for those who are disadvantaged. And I think if you could unleash a true economy that was fair from top to bottom, meaning that, these large corporations, they don't have advantages over the smaller mom and pop style businesses. If you had an economy where it was a level playing field like that, and everybody was told, all right, on your mark, get set, go, and people wanted to innovate and build and create, I think the world would be a much better place, and people would have less free time to complain about the things that they're constantly complaining about. I mean, we're never going to get to utopia, but I think Jo Jorgensen, libertarian ideas, they offer a path that goes down a much better road where authoritarianism goes away, where you get to decide what you want to do. You get to decide also who you want to associate with. You're going to not be harassed if your political views on specific topics don't match those of the corporation. That's a crazy kind of extortion that's happening all over this country right now. If you don't fall in line with the narratives that the media creates every day. Libertarian Party believes in free speech, free, unfettered speech, offensive speech. They believe in it because that's the way it was written. The Constitution was written that way. The Bill of Rights was written that way. So Jo Jorgensen out on the campaign trail, does anybody care? I don't know. I don't know. People just won't look away from the car wreck. And I've been looking at it too. Full disclosure. I mean, this is tough because there is such a cage match going on between Trump and Biden. And there's violence in the country. And there's, I'm not even going to call it a pandemic anymore. It's a health thing that's going on. And it's being used as a tool. It's being used as a tool to make more people vote for certain people, or vote against certain people. But in the end, it's global in scope. And again, we need to get back to being liberty first, America first. Maybe there's a strain of populism in there. I don't know. I was told that saying America first is racist, which I don't understand. But in any event, I want to commend Jo Jorgensen for at least being there, for being a candidate with intellect, with a vision, who's credible, who doesn't look ridiculous up there speaking to people. I mean, Joe Biden can't even get through sentences. And Trump, if you like Trump, I get it. But he is kind of like watching the three-ring circus sometimes. And maybe he relates to people in a certain way that, Biden doesn't do that. I don't know. At this stage, though, we can do better. We've got 300+ million people in the country. And I think Jo Jorgensen would be very qualified to be the president of the United States. And people should really consider it. Just don't bail on the whole thing. I mean, again, and if you're a Tulsi fan, you've got a very intelligent woman here who has a lot of the same values as Tulsi Gabbard. If you want an anti-war candidate who's on the ballot in all the states, here you go. And there's no Libertarian Party controversy. She's not a Russiagator. She's not this. She's not that. She's serious. She's touring the country. She's got a nice-looking bus behind her. That's because the Libertarians are actually doing some fundraising, because people can see what's going on. And if you're going to start a movement, you start now. You don't wait. You don't wait till your favorite person gets on the ballot in 2028 or whatever year that's going to be. I think at this point, if you want to make a change, if you want to at least be part of something that started something, this is the vote to cast. Jo Jorgensen, President 2020. All right, that's my video. Please watch these videos. The Tulsi videos are great, and I know people love Tulsi. But if you like Tulsi, I think Jo Jorgensen, and you know that I've explored the Green Party. I've explored everything. And quite honestly, right now, Jo is the closest thing to Tulsi Gabbard. And there are differences, and if you're hung up on those differences, think of what you get, where you wouldn't get with the other two candidates. Just think of what you'll get. You can go down a list, and it's a pretty decent list, even if you disagree on things like economics or, I don't know, there might be some things you disagree with, but you're not going to get tribalism. You're going to get serious government, and we need serious government more than ever right now. Okay, I went way too long in this video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.